Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Today I wanted to answer some of your questions you asked me in the few videos back when I had opened up saying I'll try and answer them in the weekend. So this Sunday I thought as we have recovered from the weekend and our merriments, I'll dive in and answer some of these and offer you my views. Some of them you may agree with, some of my views may not agree with. So when you're feeling conflicted, type your feelings and your thoughts down below in the video and I will read them, and if it warrants further analysis and replies, I'll try and come back with some more answers and clarifications, because this is the kind of videos which I love the most, because I actually feel like having a conversation with you than me sitting here like a preacher sitting on a pulpit and offering a sermon like the last video where I was talking about quantum computing. So that said, let me dive into this. First one is from Matt Rodriguez, H7J. He is asking, the price target for Oracle is $410. It's still cheap to buy. Well, I cannot say I'm an astrologer or predict the future price movement of a stock, even if it is Oracle. What I would say is there value in Oracle is the way I would look at it. Would I want to buy Oracle as a company? Do I understand their business model, and would I invest in that business and stay invested for a period of 10 to 15 years? And if that answer for that question, Matt, turns to be yes, then I would look at Oracle, right? So if you're asking me personally, do I think Oracle is a great company? Yes, it's a company that's been there for a very long time. They've been in the background, like I said in that video, and they have now made, thanks to Ellison grabbing some news cycles and coming to the forefront since the election of Donald Trump, it is what has really put spotlight back on Oracle. Till then, everyone had forgotten about Oracle, just like IBM I was talking about. You may see sudden, price movement on IBM just because the hype coming around it. Same way, there's a lot of hype around Oracle. And like I said in that video, all of it is based, and quite a bit of it is based on securing an OpenAI contract and the revenue stream from OpenAI. And that, like I said, three caveats are there. One, that OpenAI is able to continue securing, funding for all their projects, because it's not a publicly listed company as yet. And two, are the margins for Oracle? Has he made sure that margins are fat enough that after all the revenue, all expenses are gone? There's quite a bit of meat left, as they say, on the bone. And three, can he get his cloud into place to deliver this? Because Oracle never believed in cloud, so now they're pivoting. So I would say they're in a strong position with cloud and AI deals in place. But in terms of cheapness, I don't know. It's all relative to earning and cash flow and growth sustainability. So that is something. $410 is what traders and analysts predict, because some people want to flip it, and I think since it peaked at $340, it corrected and profit booking happened, and it came back down to around $300. So if you're making a play in future options play, or if you're making a play for the short term to do a trade cycle, I'm the wrong person. But if you're looking at it in terms of value investing and holding it for 10 years, then I would say you can definitely keep your eye on it. The next one was from Matthew Varkey, IP6GP. Musk predicted OpenAI will eat Microsoft. Well, I don't put too much water into what Elon Musk says publicly, because most of the time what he really feels and what he really thinks, he keeps it private. He plays the audience to what he wants or what he needs. He pushes us around through Twitter, and like the 48 laws of power, he really muddies the water here and there to move things the way he wants. So what he really feels is another thing from what he says. And if you're betting on predictions, I would not invest. The question is it a durable business model? But most important thing you must keep in mind is Microsoft is actually their key partner in OpenAI. Satya Nadella went there, and I think they own 49%, just a bit shy of having complete control over the company, because they didn't want to get into conflicts. Anything and everything gets into a litigation if it becomes too big in the US. So Satya has just been his nose is almost touching to that point. That's the amount Microsoft owns OpenAI. So even when Sam Altman got thrown out of the board, It is Satya who got inside and, pressured the board to bring him back and said, we will withdraw our funding, we will withdraw access to Microsoft computers, which rattled everybody in the board, and the rest is history. So keep that in mind when you're saying OpenAI will eat Microsoft, right? The next one was from News Lover 03C. OpenAI new job portal will kill LinkedIn probably. Again, these are very fascinating predictions you guys are making. I don't think so, because LinkedIn is a very old company. It has a deep network, okay, and it has a billion plus users and corporate hiring pipeline, recruiter integration. So OpenAI may step in and innovate, might give LinkedIn a run for its money. Like I said, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, OpenAI is owned by Microsoft, so you'll probably see more partnership and cohesion and things happening together. But I don't think it'll be X will kill Y, and reality is more coexistent than elimination, is what I would say. Anyway, so what do you think, News Lover, what I said? Do you think I'm right or wrong? Let me know. Then United Health, still good, but not on the way back up. Yes, United Health is a fundamentally strong. It's short-term volatility, and doesn't change its long-term moat. So you will have to do the rest, but I think it's still good. I agree with what Prasanna has been saying. Nestle, I need to clarify. MJ said, why did Anand sir speak about Nestle suddenly when there was no specific correction in US, Europe, US market? The whole CEO news came into light about that guy, canoodling with his subordinate, and corporate ethics kicked in, and they showed the door to that guy, and he was canned. And this is right behind another CEO exit. Market reacted, a knee-jerk reaction, and that single day Nestle prices moved, and even now Nestle stands at 72 Swiss francs, and that is a pretty good price. The confusion came because Anand was talking about, if you see Nestle over the last 5 years, it has been in a downward trend, and there you can see the correction of almost 40%, 42%, that is, from the high of 127 francs, it's come down to 72 francs now. And even over a year, if you see, from the high of 91, it is down 20%. So these two giving great opportunity to look at Nestle and say, should I be looking at it? And that is what Anand is saying, because the general market sentiment is to sell. That's, in this kind of situation. In technical calls, they're saying sell it. But as value investors, at this price to earnings, I think Nestle is something you should definitely have in your radar. It is at 18. And a lot of you keep asking us in our various ways we communicate with you, should you be looking at Nestle India? And that is, 70 plus earnings. So the Anand's always said this. Always look at the parent company, because most of the Indian revenue goes back as royalty. We spoke about Hyundai also in that video. How the Indian market is valuing Hyundai when globally speaking, Hyundai is not remotely valued at these points. And how even LG and everyone is looking at whoever has an Indian footprint are deciding to put a straw into Indian markets and take a sip, because simple reason we're offering so much cash. So with all that said, Nestle Switzerland is at great value proposition, is what Anand was trying to say, net in that video. So I hope that gives you clarification, MJ. If you have any more questions, definitely ask and I'll try and answer them. Adobe as a value play. Sujit is saying, can we look at Adobe as a value investor? Yes. Adobe is a quality company and a quality stock. The problem is the pressures they're facing thanks to all the stuff which is happening in artificial intelligence space is not great for Adobe. So they're sitting at $349 right now, and their price to earnings at 21. So will Adobe manage to weather the storm? Yes. Will they also integrate AI into their ecosystem? Yes. And I do think Adobe is a great company. I do use Adobe software. So I would say this price to point earnings for the long term, Adobe is something I would definitely keep on my list if I'm planning to hold on for the next 10 years. I don't see Adobe disappearing or going away. With all what's happening with Google and Google Banana and rest of I would do say it'll all dissipate finally, and Adobe will still have content creators and creators per se in be it photography, be it videography, it'll still have a strong foothold over there. So anyway, my view on Adobe is that I would definitely have it on my list. I hope that helps, Sujit, for the long term. NRI Tamilian USA says, we missed Nvidia, Oracle, Meta, Netflix boats. Instead, we got Toyota, Honda, Intel, Google. Listen, in any way you look at it, NRI Tamilian, we look at maybe 10, 12, 13 companies at a point of time. And if you manage to find, you cannot expect that all 10, 12, 13 which you look at will all turn into, multi-baggers, as they say. If few of them turn into multi-baggers, it carries the weight of the rest of the team. This is like true in cricket or any sport which you play, team sport, You can't expect every single player to perform on every single match on every single day. So that's why you need to find those players who are in form, who are on that day, who manage to get you the score which you need. So I would say focus on your overall portfolio score, and as long as that is compounding at a healthy rate, then you're doing all right. So you pick your players, value players, like in a team, you see the company which is at value, making sense, showing performance, you put them into your team, and then overall just look at the team as your portfolio and see how it's performing. I would suggest that would offer you better insight. Rajav Vignesh is saying OpenAI funds target project via use of tariff deal, Oracle provides service. Doesn't that make well, this is again speculation. Rajav Vignesh, a lot is being hyped about this, and like I said in the IBM video, we should be cautious not to invest in hype, but to invest in earnings and see the earnings. Keep watching it. What you're saying may be absolutely true. So keep an eye on earnings. And if you're a long-term investor, you don't have to worry about it. If you can see it's not speculative and there's a steady cash flow, steady source of revenue, then there's proof of concept. And like I said, look for enablers in the industry. Don't try to purely play on the industry itself, but find enablers, and that will be a better way to look at it. Now, PayPal, I would say it's struggling against the competition. It may look cheap, but I do think the moat is cheaper. So I would not touch PayPal right now. There's speculation from Manjit saying CPI data, Fed rate cut 25 basis point, dip in gold after 17th. Well, you cannot predict this again, and if you're looking at gold in the long term, it's not an investment class. Like I've said, holding a lot of gold is not going to compound as much as holding a lot of stock. We only hold on to gold as a security in market volatility. So, Manjit, I would not say this is interesting intellectual conversation, but in terms of investment play, I would say focus on looking for value stocks than looking at too much of gold. And in terms of opportunity zone stocks, what was being asked by one of you, I would say places which seem overheated is AI and tech sectors are overheated, meaning it's all very expensive. The Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta. Healthcare has been ignored for some time, so you can look at definitely healthcare sectors zone, and consumer staples is being beaten down because of margin pressure, tariffs, inflation, rising cost. So those consumer staples is something. And there is also tech, which is outside the AI bubble, where there is some quality which you can find, and you can also focus on that. So anyway, I hope that answers most of your questions, and keep your questions coming. If you find anything, which you disagreed with me, or you found out I missed, that's a blind spot, put it down in the comments. I'll read them and try to come back in the middle of the week sometime if I get a room to myself and answer your questions. Thanks for being with me on Be Rich. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you recovered well from last night and you're ready to get on to the last few weeks of September. Like I said in Instagram, every day in the market opens as an opportunity to put a little coin into the market. Do that, invest and get back into your life and do whatever you must do. Do not make it very complicated and miss these opportunities, because consistency always trumps everything else. Thanks for being with me on Be Rich. See you tomorrow, and I wish you a good evening.